Welcome to part 3. As you can see here, I've got my wiring diagram, and we're going to first do this 3mm starter earth. This is the main earth for everything. I'm going to say that multiple times in the video. And then the other wire we're going to do is connected right next to it on the moped, and that is 3mm positive for the starter motor. So if you can imagine, these are two big thick wires that basically go straight from your battery to your starter motor. And then there's another little red wire that's going to be connected to the battery. That isn't going to be part of what we're doing right now, but I will show you. That is this wire here that goes to your key. Nice and simple, and always refer to the diagram so that you can be clear about what you're doing. And it is okay to do things in parts. It's actually not okay to do that. It's compulsory. It's necessary. If you don't do it in parts, you'll get confused, and my whole message here about drawing out the diagram and doing it in pieces is going to be pretty much pointless. So I have actually already completed the work that I'm going to be showing you. However, there is a little montage of me doing something in the middle of the video to show you what parts can be reused, in my opinion, on this particular circuit and which parts can't. I know I said I'm going to rewire the whole scooter. That is true, but some parts haven't really got anything wrong with them, so why waste your money? So the part we're going to do first is to do with the starter relay. These are the thickest wires in the moped, and possibly the most important if you want to start it without using a kickstart, which, as you can see, I haven't actually got on here at the moment. So battery is sitting here, and then this is the starter relay. So this part goes to your battery. It's the main for your battery, and then this red wire is the positive for everything else in the whole scooter, and they are separate. So we have a wire down here that I have put in, okay, and that is the red wire that goes onto the starter relay, and that goes onto here. And in my next video I'm going to install this and finish it. So when you wire things up, do them in parts. Generally it's easiest to start with the thickest wires first, and the thickest ground wires or negative wires that go to the frame. So on the moped, the main earth or ground wire, don't be confused with a different kind of earth. For example, this kind of earth, which is the earth. There's going to be another main earth that I'm going to connect from the handlebars here, where all of my circuits are for everything, and then I'm going to connect that onto the frame. The reason being, in here, this is the physical connection between the handlebars and the rest of the frame of everything, and that's full of oil and bearings. And if you know anything about conductivity, you'll know that oil isn't a very good conductor. So what I'm going to do is, I've got one earth here and potentially going to extend this onto somewhere down here or underneath, so that way I'm ensuring that there's a good earth between the handlebars where all my electronic parts are and the battery and the CDI and the stator. Right, so what we're going to do is, the first thing I'm going to install is this, which is already installed, but if you hold fire, I'm going to give you a little montage of me fixing the part of the wire where someone had attempted to alter it. Potentially it was a part from the factory that was added on as extra. I'm not sure, but after I took it off I realised that it was covered in insulation tape, and I have replaced that with this lovely heat shrink. And then I'll show you the rest of what has been done. So just to reiterate, the earth wire goes first. Do this first. It's also the thickest, the hardest to work with. It's going to be the... So someone has altered it at some point and put this lovely repair in here, and personally I don't really see any issue aside from it being a bit shit looking, but to be fair it's probably okay. So feel free to do a better job than that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it with some heat shrink that I have here, and you can buy heat shrink from your automotive dealer, automotive parts dealer, or electrical supply, probably just from the hardware shop if you look hard enough. And it comes in sort of packets like this. You get various lengths, different colours and so forth. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this end off here, which is the original part to the battery, which looks like shit. So I'm going to cut that off, slide it over, and then fix this. And as you can see, this end that originally went to the battery is much tidier. It's original, the clamp on there is the original one and so forth. It looks like perhaps maybe this wiring loom was designed for a different moped and they'd altered it or something like that. Maybe someone had tried to splice something into it. I don't know. So, when you wire up a moped or a car or anything, try to break it down into the different jobs of the circuit. So we're going to do the earthing for the entire frame first, and then after that I've got to make a bracket for this, which will sit under here, and a bracket for my CDI. That's a different part of the circuit, but it's one of the most important parts, and that will be the next video after this video, which will be its own video as well, because I need to make a plastic mounting and figure out how to sit it in here right, and probably redo these lights so that they're not sitting all on the all bug-eyed like that. I don't quite like I sort of like it and I sort of don't, so anyway, that doesn't really matter. But I'm going to make a little mount for this after that. So first we're going to do this. I'm going to repair this and then install it, and then that's the first part of the circuit done, which is just the earth back to everything from the battery, which is attached right next to the motor here. So this is pretty easy really. I'm just going to cut it off, and then I'm going to get my heat shrink, go down to where I have to cover it up, which is here, and go, oh yeah, it's about that long, and chop. Okay, so I'm going to take this part off and slide it over. There we go. Down, over like that. Then you've got to make sure there's enough on each side so you can feel the connection in there, and well, I can there, and that'll be good. So now I need my lighter, which I will have to find. Alright, so we have the lighter, and be careful that you're not lighting into whatever's on the floor that is potentially flammable that you may have been doing other than this. For example, paint or, I don't know, petrol, I don't know. Anyway, so out of the wind, go like that. Trying to burn your finger. In fact, I might just do it like this. Sit it on my shoe and then get my leaf. Do do do. Do do do. Do 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 do. And you can probably see it starting to shrink. The trick is not to sit in one place because you'll melt it. As you can see there, it's starting to conform to the shape of what it's doing. Oh, sorry, conform to the shape of the wire. And there we go. Be careful to not sit in one place for too long. Just like that. Right. Now leave that and let it dry. Well, not dry. Sorry, there's a little bit of the end that needs to be done there. Over here. There you go. Right. Now we're just going to leave that and then let it sit. And then I'm going to attach it, which will be the last part of the video. And I will have a little chat at the end about the rest of what I'm doing, but remember that you can reuse some parts So as you can see, we've got them connected down here. This is the positive, and I've bent this back to get the boot to nicely sit over there. And then we've got the negative down here. This is the main thing we're talking about, and the boot over the top, nicely tightened up. Interestingly enough, this negative is also the mounting bracket for the starter. Looks hard to see, but as you can see, it's connected there. And we've got this nicely cable tied together, coming up through here next to the fuel line, which I still need to cover up with something, and then up through here to this positive, like you saw before, and my negative. And there is enough room for my solenoid to sit in here on a bracket that I'm going to make, and my negative to go onto the negative of the battery. So part one of the actual physical job of rewiring it is finished. Hold fire for the next video. After that, I will also have sorted out this slightly average looking fuel line here that is mostly just put on here to make sure it fits properly. Thanks for watching, and part 4 will be me starting to deal with this part of the circuit, and also mounting this and connecting it on. I've already explained how to do it, so really I'm just going to put up a video of what it looks like completed and maybe some footage of me making things. I am going to make this out of plastic, so I'm going to use some of the original plastic that I've already used to make various ironic things for it, and make the bracket for that. Then once we've got this run up to the key, I can start showing you the next part of the circuit after that, which is going to be to do with the stator and CDI, which I have yet to have arrive. So once I've done this part, we can work from everything. This is like the mains, if you like, for everything. And you always get your mains in first so that you can work with the more important part of the circuit, the heavier part, so that you can run other things which are sort of like auxiliary sorts of things like lights and whatnot from that. Thank you.